Welcome back, Patriots, for another episode of The Bald Brad Show. And let me tell you, I am still on a high from last night. Dude, after we got done streaming, and by the way, thank you to everybody that showed up last night, because I'm telling you, I had the time of my life last night. I was almost crying. Maybe actually did cry a little bit. I was laughing. I saw a freak show in the crowd that scared me. I had every emotion in the book. And then when we were done streaming, I couldn't go to bed. I had too much fun with you guys. So I'm a wee bit tired, but I'm still ready to go. We got the coffee, we got the water, we got the MAGA hat on the desk, baby. We're ready to go. We got a lot of news to cover because Democrats, they're freaking out after, to say the least. When you get so triggered like Elizabeth Warren, when Donald Trump called her Pocahontas to her face, and she was like, yeah, I'm good. And she was like shaking. She was visibly shaky. She's like, I'm going to get you. Right? I mean, look at all of us had a good time last night. We're all back here. I didn't get high. I'm on a high. Easy, Dizzy. I got high off the Trump madness, baby. Well, anyways, let's jump into the news. Enough of me talking, but damn, hell yeah. So Trump made all these stupid advertisements off to show you. Thank you. Jeez, freaking Washington Post, man. Chill with the advertisements. Trump's speech to Congress, live updates. President Trump's powerful address praised by left and right. I don't know about you, but I saw a poll number this morning when I was doing a little bit more show prep, and it was something like almost 70% of the country liked Donald Trump's speech last night. 31% said they didn't think of it as positive, which we all know who they are, right? That's the Democrats, the progressive lefties, those that live under a rock, want to allow criminals to kill and rape your children, those psychos. I mean, it's a large proportion of the country who wants all this craziness. So President Donald Trump laid out common sense revolution, proclaiming America's back in a rousing speech before a joint session of Congress on Tuesday night. After basically a interesting start, we'll say, the 47th president used his first major speech to the country since he was sworn into office just 6 weeks ago to celebrate the end of a divisive DEI policies, DOJ cost-cutting measures, announced the capture of a top terrorist, which Democrats didn't stand for anything. I want to be clear here. Democrats did not stand for a single thing that Donald Trump said on that podium, which is bonkers. And by the way, a lot of people are not happy with it, both Democrat and Republican. I mean, we're not shocked here, but if you're a Democrat and you couldn't stand for some of this stuff, it just gives credibility to people that give a narrative, such as myself, that the Democrat Party loves this stuff. And as somebody that's on the front lines in the state of California with hardcore progressive lefties on every corner, I'm telling you, they like it, you guys. It's the oddest and craziest thing to me. They love the criminals. We showed the clip yesterday at the end of yesterday's podcast. They love the violent gang members looting and smashing and killing people, taking products, goods, service. It doesn't matter what the hell it is. They love the craziness. They love the stench of the homeless in LA. They love how it gets into their clothing and on their skin and doesn't get removed until you take a shower. All that stuff. They love the dirty streets, the crack pipes everywhere, the homeless sleeping everywhere, doing drugs in front of your kids, kidnapping your kids, selling them off into forced labor. They love all of it. And if you're a Democrat, I will continue to say this till I'm blue in the face. Why are you still a Democrat when they don't hold any democratic values? None. I mean, your own party members are coming to the Republican Party because the Republican Party is more recognizable as a Democratic Party than is the actual Democratic Party. It's bewildering. You should just be an independent. Hell, join the Green Party. That'd probably make more sense. So they didn't even stand for him getting rid of a top terrorist responsible for a disastrous Afghanistan withdrawal, probably because their guy's the one that caused it. Recognize the families of Lake and Riley. They couldn't even stand for that because I told you they love this stuff. The widows whose NYPD officer was murdered by an illegal immigrant couldn't stand for that either because they love it. They all are into it because they're freaking weird. They're lunatics. Trump called them lunatics last night straight to their face because they are. Look at that, reborn in the USA, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Make America great again. I had goosebumps last night. We were all feeling it, weren't we? Some of us got teary-eyed. Oh, and we'll break some stuff down here. But some of them walked out, right? Look at these heroes. Look at the heroes. This is the hero right here. This guy right here, making America great again, baby. So this is how Trump enters last night, and this is what we were hoping for. This is what we wanted, Patriots. The USA chance. And just when I mean, they went on for like 2 minutes. Him just standing there, just clapping him, giving him a round of applause for turning the country around, or at least trying. You know, they're getting their panties all in a bunch with what's going on with Ukraine. And my question to all the Democrats is, what's your solution? You notice that they just bitch, moan, and complain. What's your solution? There is none for them. That's just what they want to do, is complain and not stand for things that are obvious. And so you have Speaker Johnson talking with Sean Hannity after the speech itself, and was talking about just how undisciplined the Democrats were, and how you had to have Representative Al Green be removed by the Sergeant at Arms, which I have never seen in my lifetime happen. I'll be honest, I didn't even know what the Sergeant at Arms looked like. I didn't know if they wore like military outfits or what. It would have been cool if they were like, just throw him down on the ground, right, and then drag him by his feet, but that's what they wanted. They wanted that view, that look of them manhandling a Democrat, meaning the Democrats wanted that so they could have a talking point. They didn't get that.
Like Al Green when he pulls off a stunt like that?
Well, we escorted him off the floor. He couldn't behave himself. It's quite shameful. It brought shame on, I'm sure his constituents are not proud of that tonight. But I suspect that there'll be a censure resolution brought on the floor to discipline him. We have to do that inside the House. We have to maintain decorum. Yeah.
Somebody.
Stephanie goes, that was not on my bingo card. It wasn't on ours either, but hey, I guess we'll have another one in a year. I guess we got to make note for ourselves and make sure we have Sergeant at Arms on the bingo card next year. I just love how he's pointing at him with the cane. I'll get you, you son of a bitch. Get off my lawn. What an idiot. Look at this guy. It's sad because their brains are so far gone that they think this is cool. They think that they're actually doing something. They think that they're standing up for democracy, for the republic. You don't belong up there. You're going to take my money that I sent to Mozambique for condoms, you jerk. Look at you won't let me trans mice in freaking Africa. I hate you. I hate you, Trump. Yeah, God forbid we stop wasting money. But Democrats are the ones that are. I was hoping he would call out the Democrats for that and talk about how, if you look at all these things that was passed, it's not Republican conservatives really doing this. In some ways it is, but mostly it's the Democrat Party over there with their twisted hair, lack thereof hair. Sometimes we saw a critter. I don't know what the hell that was last night. I got to find a picture of that. Scared the crap out of me. There was a lady critter, I don't know, monster, what was in the crowd? There was something there. An alien? We got to figure out who the hell that was last night. That wasn't right. Hopefully it doesn't take me to an ad. Hold on. It's going to take me to an ad. So while we're waiting for the ad to stop running. Yeah, we all remember the lady, right? Well, or man, anybody know what that was with the purple hair? A demon? Yeah. Shit. Yeah. Maybe there's a lot of demons on the other side. Let me tell you, you know, we're getting the spinning wheel here. I don't know why Fox just can't get it together. If it's not, then we got another clip for y'all. Maybe they just want the ads to be rolling. Here we go.
Mr. Green, take your seat. Take your seat, sir. Take your seat. Finding that members continue to engage in willful and concerted disruption of proper decorum, the chair now directs the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order. Remove this gentleman from the chamber. Members are directed to uphold and maintain decorum in the...
So it was a little uneventful. Like I said, I was kind of hoping they would like throw him on the ground and, start beating him with his own cane and his own shoe. But we didn't get that. That would have been too glorious. So this news came out late last night. Says deported. Representative Al Green booted from Trump address to Congress. Mr. Green, take your seat. Take your seat. You saw it. And he wouldn't do it. He doesn't want to take a seat. He wants to get thrown out. So there's that took place yesterday, which was really fun. And I think we were all wondering, were they actually going to do it? And they did, which made all of us even more giddy in the chat. We're like, we're seeing history, a Democrat being thrown out. I mean, it's almost ironic, right? A lot of the illegals that came into the country and voted Democrat, illegals, yes, and some of them did vote, and you're allowed to vote in municipalities in some areas in the United States for Democrats. Well, they're getting deported, and then I wish it was Tom Homan, right? If Trump was like, hey, Tom, can you come down here and deport this Democrat out of here? Right? And then have Tom Homan escort him out. I mean, the optics, it's so good. God, we have a great president. We really do. Great president with a great community of patriots. And I'm going to keep saying it. If you weren't with us last night, well, go watch the recording because it's that good. I think we all had a great time last night, didn't we? We didn't get the bingo card. I hate to say it. It was our first. I'm a little bitter. Yes, I am. Oh, I am. I'm a little bitter. We didn't get it. I think we could have. We could have stretched it. Okay, that's what she said. But we could have stretched it out to get the full bingo card last night. Epstein this, Epstein that. What are the odds that Epstein was the one that didn't allow us to get our bingo cleared? Well, Trump, and I love that he did this because millions of people are watching this. And please, try to remember that a lot of Americans, they don't really watch too much stuff. This is kind of one of the big speeches that they will witness and watch rather than seeing the news because look, they got lives. They want to go out to work. They're taking care of their family. The kids are running around creating chaos everywhere. So I love that Trump mentioned all the fraud, the waste that was being just completely thrown out the window here. And I'm gonna watch this whole clip because this is exactly what I voted for. I voted for getting rid of the wasteful, the fraud spending, and looking under the hood. And then I also voted for illegal immigration to get rid of that and deportations. Now, I do want to comment on this really quick. You see these signs? Nobody found it interesting that that's kind of very reminiscent of the Democrat Party way back when they were buying and selling slaves. They got auction paddles, you guys. These idiots got auction paddles without the clue of like, hey, your party is the party of racism. You're the party of slavery that bought and sold slaves, you idiots. And you're holding auction paddles up with words on it. This is how dumb these people are. You know what will be a good idea? They have no awareness, man. They are so far gone. I'm telling you, this party is so far gone over here.
Just listen to some of the appalling waste we have already identified. $22 billion from HHS to provide free housing and cars for illegal aliens. $45 million for diversity, equity, and inclusion scholarships in Burma. $40 million to improve the social and economic inclusion of sedentary migrants. Nobody knows what that is. $8 million to promote LGBTQI+ in the African nation of Lesotho, which nobody has ever heard of. $60 million for indigenous peoples and Afro-Colombian empowerment in Central America. $60 million. $8 million for making mice transgender.
Crazy.
This is real. $32 million for a left-wing propaganda operation in Moldova. $10 million for male circumcision in Mozambique. $20 million for the Arab Sesame Street in the Middle East. It's a program. $20 million for a program. $1.9 billion to recently created Decarbonization of Homes Committee, headed up, and we know she's involved. Just at the last moment, the money was passed over by a woman named Stacey Abrams. Have you ever heard of her? A $3.5 million consulting contract for lavish fish monitoring. $1.5 million for voter confidence in Liberia. $14 million for social cohesion in Mali. $59 million for illegal alien hotel rooms in New York City. He's a real estate developer. He's done very well. $250,000 to increase vegan local climate action innovation in Zambia. $42 million for social and behavior change in Uganda. $14 million for improving public procurement in Serbia. $47 million for improving learning outcomes in Asia. Asia's doing very well with learning. I don't know what we're doing. Should use it ourselves. And $101 million for DEI contracts at the Department of Education. The most ever paid, nothing even like it. Under the Trump administration, all of these scams. And they're far worse, but I didn't think it was appropriate to talk about them.
And he's right. I mean, that isn't even scratching the surface. Elon Musk was on Joe Rogan's podcast, I think it was either Monday or last week. And Joe Rogan was asking him if he could go like more in depth of other things that he found. And he said he couldn't because he feared of being assassinated. And he's saying that this money laundering and embezzlement scheme is so bad that his life is at stake right now. That's bonk. I mean, I fully believe it. I fully believe it with these psycho Democrats. But you know, there's a dark force out there that is working against the American people, that's working against the president, that's working against every aspect of what makes this country great. Just throwing your money out the window. Also, Donald Trump had a mic drop moment last night. And this one, I got goosebumps live when he said it. When he talked about how the Democrats politicized the justice system and started going after their political opponents. And he had that catchphrase. How did that work out? Oh, I love it.
Did weaponize government where, as an example, a sitting president is allowed to viciously prosecute his political opponent, like me. How did that work out?
Yeah.
Not too good.
Stupid ass pals. These idiots.
And I have stopped all.
I love that. You see that pointing right there? Right there, pointing at him. How did that work out? JD loves it. JD was like us last night. Just all about it. God, I got goosebumps still. And I already seen it. Just the second time's almost as good, you know? Just almost as good. And speaking of JD Vance and Mike Johnson, I was worried that there would be caught on a hot mic, and I was really surprised at how much they were talking last night, because I've been caught on a hot mic before myself a couple times. And you got to really, anytime there's a microphone around you, you have to assume that you're being recorded or somebody can hear you. And that's what I learned a long time ago. So they didn't say anything bad here, luckily and thankfully. But here's JD Vance, and I'm going to read it for you, and then we'll listen to it because it's a little bit hard to hear. But JD Vance says, by the way, I think this speech is going to be great, but I don't know how you do this for 90 minutes. And Speaker Johnson says this: the hardest thing was doing it during Biden when the speech was a stupid campaign speech. Here we go.
By the way, I think the speech is going to be great, but I don't know how you do this for 90 minutes.
The hardest thing was doing it during Biden when the speech was a stupid campaign speech.
By the way,
He turns the mic down as if that's going to do anything. Yeah, you got to be really careful. And thankfully, JD didn't go like, oh, the speech is going to be it's going to be rough. We're going to be sitting here for a while. So, because then the media is just going to run with that. And that would have been the news story. It wouldn't have been all the great things that Trump said or did. It wouldn't have been any of that. It would have just been, oh, look what JD said about Donald Trump. Oh, I guess they actually don't get along, blah, blah, blah. When we all know they do. JD's Trump's boy, and Trump, they're two boys. They're two men with each other. That didn't come out right. But you know what I mean. You understand. And Scott Jennings sums it up perfectly here on CNN after the debate regarding just the whole optics of the Democrat Party and how shameful it really was.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm sure she's a very nice person. None of this will be remembered because this was a horrific night for the opposition party, regardless of how well she just spoke. It started out with Al Green getting thrown off the House floor because he couldn't keep his emotions under control. Then they had the ridiculous paddles, which now social media is roasting.
That you said false on one side and
ridiculous.
Elon on
and
the
then
other.
finally, and maybe most terribly, the Democrats who couldn't find it in their heart to stand for objectively good things, including the 95-year-old mother of Mark Fogel and Mark, who got rescued from a Russian prison, and they couldn't even stand up for that. I thought Democrats came into this speech lost and defeated by Donald Trump, and today it looks to me like they're even more lost and even more defeated than when this speech started. Yeah.
100%. 100%. These people are gone. And I said that at the beginning. I mean, you could just see it in their expression. They don't know what's happening. They don't know where they're at. They don't have an agenda. They don't have any sort of resolutions or solutions to anything. They don't have anything other than bitching and complaining about anything that Donald Trump says, regardless of if it's good, regardless of if it's bad. It's just they're I don't know what the hell's wrong with that party. And you have here Scott Jennings before the speech itself having to listen to the CNN panel say things. And I'll be honest here, when I actually watched this clip, because whenever he says, I don't know what you just said, I was like, okay, well, maybe I can read into it a little bit. Let me know if you let me know if she's making sense. I feel like she just starts rambling and just says something weird, and Scott's like, I don't even know what the hell you're talking about.
out of the context we're in. J.D. Vance, who just had the biggest moment of his vice presidency so far in the Oval Office with Zelensky after his Munich speech. The Joint Chiefs. It's going to be all white men because they've just fired two of the Joint Chiefs. I mean, you can't take that layer out of the conversation, can you?
Well, I don't know what that means, because Donald Trump's entering the chamber tonight with a net positive job approval, 50 or maybe slightly better than 50%, and he's speaking to a room full of Democrats who have an approval rating of 21%. All of the political clout in that room resides on the podium with Johnson, with Vance, and with Donald Trump.
You can't take them out of the
I don't think they don't. Did you notice that Donald Trump is doing so many things that they don't have a narrative right now? Like, they don't have Russia, the hoax. They don't have any of the hoaxes to push. They don't know what to talk about. And it's pretty interesting to watch different news sites, whether it's MSNBC, CNN, ABC, NBC. They don't know what to talk about because Trump is doing so many good things, and he's doing it in so much rapid succession that they don't know where to put their focus. And because their brain is mush and it has no focus, they go, auction signs? Like, hey, Jim, you think you could dust off the old auction signs for us? The ones that my ancestors used to buy the slaves? Yeah, that one. Are you sure? Yeah, we're going to put stickers on it. It's not a big deal. Bring them out. The people we deal with, man. It's crazy. It really is crazy. You want to know what else is crazy? You might be wondering, Brad, you streamed all last night. We were here with you. How the hell you have so much energy? You know how it rolls, baby. You know how we do here. Have you heard about the recent advertising scandal? Well, let me break it down for you, Patriots. The CEO of Rumble, Chris Pavlowski, well, he recently released an email from Inspire Brands and Dunkin' Donuts. The email explicitly states the right-wing culture of Rumble is too polarizing. It's too icky. In other words, Dunkin' Donuts has a problem with right-wing culture and wants nothing to do with it or Rumble. So here's a solution. Stop buying products that don't support you and start supporting brands that do support you. The competing coffee brand that we all need to get behind, we already are, is Rumble's 1775 coffee. It is the daily brew. You got to get it hot, piping hot, and only drink it dark. That's how we get the energy here. For a limited time, folks, and this is one of my favorite promotions right here. For a limited time, Rumble's offering 2 bags. Buy 2 bags of coffee and get one for free. Go to 1775coffee.com and enter promo code Duncan with a capital D to get this limited time deal. Again, you get 2 bags of coffee and you get one free. And because we're a morning show and we do this each and every day, weekdays, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, you're going to go through the coffee quick. That's why the extra bag is such a good deal, and that's why I love it as well. So pick that up. I know a lot of you, again, the one that you guys seem to love the most from feedback via email, also Twitter, but sometimes you guys will throw in the comment section, is the medium roast. Now, I love the dark roast. I love a good dark roast. But you guys like the medium, so maybe try that one out since most people like that one. Well, here's all the accomplishments that Trump did that Democrats refused to stand for. And we're going to break some of these down because, I mean, it is bewildering. And really sicko, some of the stuff these people were saying on the media side of things after the speech. Like, wait till we get to the clip that they were saying about this little kid, you guys. I'm going to keep it together, but MSNBC, I believe it was, and I'll have to look up here. I have it up here in the tabs. What they said here about this kid, you're going to almost want to punch your screen. I'm not for cancel culture, but when I show you that clip in a little bit, it's really mind blowing. Just hold on for a little bit. We'll get there. I promise. So they didn't want to stand for little boy battling cancer. They didn't want to stand for cracking down on crime because they love that stuff. We already talked about that. I live in Southern California. They love the crime here. Oh, they're all about it. So, I mean, hell, they're the ones that are committing the crime. Helping working families. Remember how they're supposed to be for the hard workers, right? The blue collar guys. They were supposed to be all for that. Not anymore. Catching terrorists who killed Americans. They would not. And we stopped and we're like, how are they not standing for Trump getting one of the top terrorists that killed 13 soldiers? How on God's green earth are you not standing for that? Why? Because they love that stuff, you guys. It was their well, I guess it was our president too, but it was Joe Biden that pulled out. It was him waking up one day going, I think I'm going to pull out of Afghanistan with no plan. And just kaboom. Not to mention they're giving $10 billion to the Iranians who funneled money to terrorists. Destroying cartels. Well, they love illegal immigration. I mean, doesn't it give credibility to everything we've been talking about here on the show for the last 4 years? Wasn't it basically Donald Trump's speech was one giant receipt for us? And then watching the actions of the Democrat Party doing exactly what I tell you that they love, that they don't like. They don't like Donald Trump. They're not going to stand for him, but they love all these aspects of crime, illegal immigration, terrorism, all that stuff. I mean, why else wouldn't you do it? You know what I mean? Why else? Honoring Laken Riley, who was killed by an illegal alien. They couldn't even stand for that. That's despicable. That's disgusting. Honoring a young girl killed by an illegal. Didn't want to stand for that. That's disgusting. Deporting criminals who killed and harmed Americans and bringing American citizens held prisoner home. You got to ask yourself, what do Democrats stand for then? Because it seems like they are anti-America, in my opinion, based on everything that Donald Trump said. It seems like they don't want to stand for Americans whatsoever. They'll be really quick to stand for Ukrainian stuff. They'll be really quick to stand for illegal immigrants. But if you notice, anything that's involving Americans and making sure you're taking care of them, it's weird. They're just not for it. They're just not into it. And then they can't wonder why they lost the election. I hope they continue that shit. I hope that Democrats continue their charades and continue promulgating stuff that we're about to cover right now, because we'll have a president for the rest of my lifetime that's Republican, and I'm all for it. This was a really heart-moving moment for me last night, as was all of you in the chat. Trump honors a 13-year-old brain cancer survivor and makes him an honorary Secret Service agent. His face, I got goosebumps right now. His face when he found out that he got to be a Secret Service agent, man. It was a like, I'm gonna start tearing up here. It was genuine. You know, you're making that kid's day. I think all of us, you know, when we get to see kids happy and excited for something, especially when, you know, cops are so berated nowadays and they're so belittled. And for him to, you know, want to become that, and Trump just knows, he's a family guy. He knows how to do it, you know? So here's that. And man, this was a huge highlight last night. This was great.
Joining us in the gallery tonight is a young man who truly loves our police. His name is DJ Daniel. He is 13 years old, and he has always dreamed of becoming a police officer.
He's in a heart. That's great.
But in 2018, DJ was diagnosed with brain cancer. The doctors gave him 5 months at most to live. That was more than 6 years ago.
Look at that. They don't even stand, man. We got more important things to do, guys. Like, waste your money. Couldn't even stand for a kid.
Since that time, DJ and his dad have been on a quest to make his dream come true, and DJ has been sworn in as an honorary law enforcement officer.
Watch his face.
Actually, a number of times. The police love him. The police departments love him. And tonight, DJ, we're going to do you the biggest honor of them all.
Watch this.
I am asking our new Secret Service Director, Sean Curran, to officially make you an agent of the...
Look at that face. Look how... He can't believe it. He can't believe it. Joey could never. Look, he just made that kid's freaking day. I mean, year maybe. I don't know. Good for him.
United States Secret Service.
And he has a Secret Service director show up. Look at that. I'm getting emotional again. He hugs him. I mean, you can't, I mean, I guess you could write this stuff. I don't think that's in the script. Secret Service director saves Trump's life, gives the kid a freaking, a cool-ass badge. Man, look, I had a family. My dad was a cop. My grandfather was a cop. I wanted to be a cop growing up. I remember showing up. I had little toys, and they were cop cars. And we had to do, like, you know, in elementary school, you had to do a show and tell. And you had to talk about, you know, bring something that is a show and tell, but what you want to be when you grow up. And I brought cop cars because I wanted to become a cop. Dude, I would have been jumping up and down like Elon Musk if I got to be a part of the Secret Service and get a cool ass legit badge like that, by the way. So you might think, oh, that's great. Like, how could anybody say anything bad about that? Oh, no. Oh, are you ready? If you are driving, pull over because you might get road rage from this clip. This is one of the most disgusting things I have seen from a news outlet say in a long, long time. MSN DNC Nicole Wallace politicizes that young man who survived cancer. Quote, I hope he never has to defend the United States Capitol against Donald Trump supporters. This is the sicko stuff that these people say.
But I think this was a lesson in finding one thing that you let yourself feel. And I let myself feel joy about DJ. And I hope he's alive for another, 95 years, right? And I hope he lives and the life he wants to live. He wants to be a cop. He knows what he wants to do. And maybe when you have childhood cancer, that crystallizes for you. And I hope he has a long life as a law enforcement officer. But I hope he never has to defend the United States Capitol against Donald Trump supporters. And if he does, I hope he isn't one of the 6 who loses his life to suicide. And I hope he isn't one who has to testify against the people who carried out acts of seditious conspiracy and then lived to see Donald Trump pardon those people. But I think this was a
What? This is what happens when you just let these people talk. This is what happens when there is no script. There's no producer and script writer behind the scenes crafting every narrative and all their words for them. When you just let them speak from the tops of their empty heads, if they were to move their head fast enough, you'd hear a little bean rattling around in there. This is the crazy stuff that comes out. This is the craziness of it all. And there's no recollection here of like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have said that. Maybe I shouldn't politicize a kid with brain cancer. That's how they think, man. These people are just, well, I don't know how you describe them anymore. I'll be honest. I'm not really sure. But if you're enjoying what you're seeing, I haven't said this yet. The like tab is right there for you. And I want to pull up this clip of Donald Trump pissing off Elizabeth Warren last night. But if you hit that like button, it'd be greatly appreciated. So Donald Trump talks about the Ukrainian war here and calls Elizabeth Warren straight to her face Pocahontas.
With no end in sight, the United States has sent hundreds of billions of dollars to support Ukraine's defense. With no security, with no anything. Do you want to keep it going for another 5 years? Yeah, you would say Pocahontas says yes.
Look how pissed she is. She is shaking. She is visibly shaking. She is so mad that dude just called her out in front of everybody. Watch her just...
2,000 people are being killed.
Hold on. No. Let me go back. Oh, right to her face. God, that was great. That was one of the better moments last night. And then you had the this Elisa Slotkin, Democrat, comes out after the speech and does one of those rebuttal things, which is really hilarious. And I always find it funny whenever a Democrat puts the American flags in the back, even though they didn't stand for anything that was purely American in that speech for the entire 90 minutes. But well, I'll let her words kind of speak for themselves.
We're on the subject of Elon Musk. Is there anyone in America who is comfortable with him and his gang of 20-year-olds using their own computer servers to poke through your tax returns, your health information, and your bank accounts?
Oh, she's worried about them using their own servers. Where was all this with Hillary Clinton and her server in her bathroom? And then using bleach bit and then having her own staff use hammers to destroy cell phones. Where was all of that then?
No oversight, no protections against cyber attack, no guardrails on what they do with your private data. We need a more efficient government. You want to cut waste? I'll help you do it.
No, you won't.
But change doesn't need to be chaotic.
This is the first time I saw it. This is the next part. Oh, shit. Hold on, give me a second. Let me collect myself.
We need a more efficient government. You want to cut waste? I'll help you do it. Cut waste? I'll help you do it. I'll help you do it.
Oh, shit. The same people that are sending $60 million in condoms to Mozambique, transing mice in the middle of Africa, wherever the hell, you know. Oh, don't worry. We'll make sure we help you. Sure. Yeah, right. What the fuck was that? What a psycho. Oh my God. Hey, I'll help you with that. Sure you will. Yeah, no, you have a great track record. Mm-hmm. Fucking dude. They voted for Kamala Harris. She couldn't even budget a campaign correctly. Hey, you want to figure things out? Yeah, just come to me. We'll get it done for you. Sure. Yeah, once you pull your head out of your ass, maybe I'll have a conversation with you. Maybe. It was all the media last night, you guys. It was the Democrats coming onto the media. It was people saying things about kids with cancer. Now you got Rachel Maddow here. I still don't know how she has a job.
For the record, and this is disgusting, the president made a spectacle out of praising a young man who thus far survived pediatric cancer, as if the president had something to do with that. This was in the midst of him praising Doge. The Doge cuts, among other things, have cut off funding for ongoing research into pediatric cancer.
This is the narrative. The kid was so excited. Oh, he's using it as a political stunt, blah, blah, blah. I mean, yeah, it is. He was using the kid as a political pawn, I guess you would say. But also at the same time, he just made that kid's life. His year, he's a friggin' Secret Service member, like a legit member now. It's unbelievable. But don't worry, Trump is evil, right? Yeah, Trump is evil. God, it's so terrible what he did for that kid. Oh, yeah. So terrible. Here's the thing. Trump, let's just step into an alternate universe. Trump could have actually cured that cancer for that kid, and they still would have beaten Trump up for it. Oh, how could he? And they still wouldn't have stood for it. So that's that. MSNDNC still doing the devil's work. Still doing the devil's work. They won't end. It'll keep going. And what's remarkable, right, is they keep doing rotations. They just got rid of Joy Reid, right, for the readout. Ooh, look at that name. And they're just replacing her with another leftist. It's called the definition of insanity when you keep doing the same thing and expecting different results. The problem is your station is the problem, the narrative that you push. And, kudos to MSNDNC for at least saying that they're a left-wing news outlet. But if you want people to watch your stuff, you got to just speak truth. Kind of like we do here. We just speak the truth. I just speak my mind. I'm no different than all of you, but I'm sure in hell ain't left wacko-leaning lunatic. I'm a right-wing guy. I tend to just say common sense stuff. Hey, can we have a budget that works? Hey, I don't really like paying a lot of taxes. I would like more money in my pocket so that I can go do fun things with it. Hey, maybe we could get rid of the people that are raping our women and children. That would be kind of nice to get rid of them. Can we stop burning down buildings? Hey, can we stop Black Lives Matter from taking down all these businesses with Movtel cocktails? Can we maybe just get police back in there to bring law and order back to the streets so these inner cities can flourish once again? It's all common sense, the things that I say. I don't say anything outlandish. Hey, can we stop the segregation of graduations in universities so that we can have black, whites, Hispanics, and Asians all together because race doesn't matter? Can we stop pretending like racism is a massive problem in the United States when it's not? It does exist, but it's not a massive problem. I don't like racists. I don't like racism. I think it's all evil. Yeah, it's stuff like common sense, right? There's nothing here that we promote that's hard right or anything crazy. But, you know, the Democrats love doing crazy stuff like doing sexual mutilation to children. I'm telling you, folks, I'm going to tell you like I'm blue in the face, what you know. They love messing with children. They love selling them off to forced labor and sex slavery. They are all... You don't just lose 130,000 children plus by an oopsie, right? It's not an oopsie. Even if it was 1,000, it's not an oopsie. Over 100,000 children sold off to forced labor and sex slavery by the Democrat Party. That is not an oopsie. That is, you're doing it on purpose because you have a factuation with children, which is why there's a segment of your party called the progressive left that loves transing kids, that loves doing these secret groups on high school, middle school campuses that are taking your children that are straight and normal and have no mental issues and bringing them into these clubs and are giving them all this indoctrination, and now they're confused. So Trump calls for Congress to pass a bill to end the sexual mutilation of kids, something that you think we could all get behind here, but not the Democrats. Oh no, they don't stand for this because they're for it. They love like chopping off little boys' peepees and girls' boobies and castrating them, and then going further and giving them hormone enhancers and puberty blockers.
Administration is also working to protect our children from toxic ideologies in our schools. A few years ago, January, Little John and her husband discovered that their daughter's school had secretly socially transitioned their 13-year-old little girl.
I want to point out, I've been talking about this for years, 4 years. And I've always mentioned early on when I started my channel, I went so hard on this topic. I got to fix her face. There we go. That's bugging me. She looked like a Democrat there for a second. Just like, what the fuck? That I was on Project Veritas very quickly because we were talking about this so much. And in a positive light, I was on Project Veritas because they obviously have a negative light of them doing undercover stuff. And I went on ABL show, which some of you are ABL fans, and that's how you found me, was exposing this stuff to him of like, this is what's going on, man. I don't know if you're aware of this with the pigtails and the braids and the bracelets and different colors, all that stuff. I've been talking about this for quite some time. And I also want to beat up Republicans here. I'm not saying you have to have me on your show, but if you notice something, every single Republican outlet out there, every single one of them, does not have teachers on their podcasts to talk about the education system. And I have a theory because of why. From my understanding, from everything I've watched, and this goes from the Daily Wire to Turning Point USA to all of them, they don't know anything about the education system. And honestly, I didn't either until I was into it. So they don't know any of it. So how do you have a discussion with somebody when you don't know anything about it? I'm not saying they don't know anything, right? They're able to hold a discussion. But how do you know what goes on behind the scenes? You can maybe read of it in a book, but there's not many books that tell you the stuff that I've exposed here on the show. They need to start getting conservative educators on their podcast to tell you stories of what this lady went through and how it is still going on, and they don't want to listen. So part of the problem is also conservative Republican outlets not getting people on their shows to talk about this stuff. And I've tried. I've messaged The Blaze. I've messaged the Daily Wire. I've even talked to their producers. I've talked to the Turning Point USA people. I've talked to everybody. Nobody wants to have the discussion about education, you guys. Nobody.
Teachers and administrators conspired to deceive January and her husband while encouraging her daughter to use a new name and pronouns. They, them pronoun, actually. All without telling January, who is here tonight and is now a courageous advocate against this form of child abuse. January, thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
So we can pause it there, but that's been going on. Democrats didn't stand for that. Of course not. Of course not. Now, everybody was talking about J.D. Vance again and Speaker Johnson behind Donald Trump. There's this look that J.D. Vance gives that's such a dad look. And you remember that he had that catchphrase of, "I don't care, Margaret." And then he also had that like side-eye look when he did the debate against, oh God, I can't even remember the guy's name anymore. Was it Mike Walsh? I can't even remember the dude's name. Tim Walsh, whatever, Tim Waltz was his name. The VP candidate for Harris. He had like that side-eye look, like, really? So last night, everybody kept posting J.D. Vance is like a dad that Democrats never had. Because every time they started getting unruly, he would look over at them and give you that dad look, like, you better cut that shit out right now. So here that is. Watch this.
It lists 3.6 million people from...
Yeah, Tampon Tim. There you go. I mean, look, I love watching Mike Johnson and J.D. Vance giving Democrats really dirty looks for acting like listless shits. Correct. Jason Howerton says J.D. Vance is the ultimate wingman for Trump. I'm living for the daggers he stares at Dems when they get belligerent and start shouting. You always got to have a guy like that in your circle. Haven't we been saying that J.D. Vance and Elon Musk are such great wingmen for Donald Trump? It is honestly, it's really refreshing to see some, like, two guys just getting along. And you know they're having a freaking good time, man. You know they're having the times of their life right now behind closed doors. I mean, even in front of everybody. If you could see this type of communication out in the open, you know it's like escalated beyond belief behind closed doors. Love how J.D. Vance keeps looking over at the Democrats and smiling. Vance glance strikes again. J.D. Vance is all us right now. He's eyeballing the Democrats, correct? J.D. Vance and Speaker Johnson are up there giving someone on the Democrats' side the same look my mama used to give me when I was acting up in church. It's so good. It's correct. It's true. It's all true. I mean, what'd you guys think? Rated between a 1 and 10. What'd you all think of Donald Trump's speech last night? A 1 being not good, a 10 being a great speech. So between a 1 and a 10, 10 being like the best speech you've ever heard. Let me know. But I loved it. I thought it was great myself. But let me know what you think. We always like to get the audience, the Patriots reception. I'd also like to point out Trump announces capture of ISIS terrorists behind Abbey Gate bombing. And as I mentioned, Democrats didn't want to stand for that. Trump said that ISIS operative had been detained and would soon face the swift sword of American justice. You could just tell that Stephen Miller wrote this speech just by the certain phrases that was spoken. Whoa, look at that 11, a lot of 10s, 10 plus plus. Look at the Patriots, everybody 10 plus. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Woo. God. And we got to all watch it and experience it together last night. That was awesome. That was awesome. Just another memory, you know what I mean? How many of these have we created? We get 4 more years. 4 more years. A lot of work to do. The soldiers right here were the ones that were killed and Democrats couldn't stand for because Democrats aren't for the military. Democrats don't care 2 bleeps about the military. Some other quick news here, jumping into a little bit of the headlines for the day. Canadian province leader threatens to cut off energy to 3 states and imposes a 25% surcharge. This is why you don't want to rely on other countries for much of anything. You need to have your own drill, baby, drill, your own energy in your own country. You can't even trust your own allies anymore. And now they're planning on doing this charades. So the head of the Canadian province of Ontario has repeatedly promised strong retaliation against the United States tariffs going into effect against Canadian goods, ensuring America feels the pain. They want to play this game? President Donald Trump announced Monday the delay on tariffs against Mexico and Canada was over, and thus a 25% tax on most imports from the trade partners went into effect after midnight. Ontario Premier Doug Ford, leader of the Progressive Conservative Party of Ontario, said in a press I don't know why I'm looking. There's a light shining in my eyes, so that's why I mostly wear the hat too. Said that there we go. Press conference Tuesday would apply a 25% surcharge on energy exports to New York, Michigan, and Minnesota, and would consider restricting the electricity exports down the line if the tariffs persist. He repeatedly placed the blame solely at Trump's feet. I mean, it's true. I mean, obviously, Trump's the one to blame for the tariffs. He's the one that imposed them. But it's just interesting that they think that they're going to be able to battle it out and duke us out with a country the size of California versus a country that is the biggest powerhouse that's ever existed. It's really odd to me that these countries are puffing up their chests as if they're on the world stage with us. There's only two other countries that equate to us, sort of. Russia and China. That's it. I don't know if these countries have an ego thing. For us, we have an ego thing. Because we can. Canada? You're known for maple syrup. That's it. People don't even like your bacon. So, I don't know. It's bewildering. It's truly bewildering. And it's also time for America to wage war on the cartels. And I really hope Trump does something really great with this. And I'm talking even sending not Secret Service, but tactical groups into Mexico. Just start taking these guys out. President Trump declared that it's time for America to wage war on the cartels. The cartels are waging war on America, and it's time for America to wage war on the cartels. 2 weeks ago, I officially designated this gang, along with MS-13 and the bloodthirsty Mexican drug cartels, as foreign terrorist organizations. They are now officially in the same category as ISIS. And I hope they go in, and I hope they get rid of these guys, because they're killing our women and children and men. They're killing Americans. And not to mention, they're allowing drugs to pour across the border. We're having like 250,000 people die a year, I think, or every 4 years. Something crazy. Like 250,000 people dying from fentanyl. I mean, what is up with that? That is a war. You're having more people die, in some cases, through this drug war than you are actual war with bullets. It's sad. It's terrible. It needs to stop. And that's why the tariffs are being put in place, because Mexico wants to allow this to happen. And so do the Canadians. You're getting it from both ends. They're reaming us from both ends like Joey was, from the north and the south. And I think we've all had enough of it. But God forbid you say, oh, I just want people to stop dying, like Trump says about the Ukrainian war and the Russia war. Oh, God forbid we get rid of the violent people that are killing Americans. I've said it again and again. In the state of California, when I say things like that, you can lose your job. Please understand that. If I say you should deport people that are raping your children and killing them and cutting off their heads and wearing their teeth as necklaces, you can lose your job, because you're supposed to allow illegal immigrants in this country. Let that sink in. That's how ass backwards this state is. When you say, I want peace, I don't want war, you could lose your job. When you say, hey, maybe we shouldn't be giving homeless people drugs and syringes to do in broad daylight in the state of California and continue their addiction, you can lose your job in the state of California. Democrat ran, progressive ran, ass backwards, head spinning, can't figure it out myself. Other than saying the only reason they're espousing that stuff is because they love it. I don't like crime. I don't like people dying. I don't like war. I like people dying that are terrorists, because it's either them or it's me. It's one or the other. And I hate to say it, I want that guy gone, because I don't want him killing me and everybody else around me. So see you later, brother, but you're done. It's obvious. I know I'm speaking normal truth stuff here, but for the Democrats, it's like holy water. When you throw truth at them, the holy water, they start spazzing out and steaming out. I want to see if we could find that monster. Hold on a second. What the hell was this last night? Some of you, it scared the shit out of me. I don't know where this came from. Somebody's going to have to explain this. What is that? Who are you? This is like some of that Scooby-Doo shit, you know what I mean, that we all grew up with? Where you take the mask off. If it wasn't for you, damn, is that Joe? Joe, is that you? You freaking weirdo. Joe's gone full trans. What is this? Somebody? What the? I don't know what it is. I'm not even so sure it's human. I mean, this guy's looking over his shoulder like, can you imagine this thing creeping over your ear? Hey, buddy, can I get a little licky of that ear of yours? Yeah, fucking shit, what is that? All right, enough. Oh, God. Well, if you didn't hang out with I can't even talk correctly. I can't even hang out with us. That's what happens when you look at a Democrat too long. You kind of get locked in. You start becoming one. If you weren't with us last night, you got to go watch it and come hang out. I think the live will still work and you can still hang out and just have a good time. We're all cracking jokes and just having a blast. So hang out with us when we do big events like that. Shapeshifter, Jesus, Scott. Really, if you can, come hang out with us because we all have a blast together in the chat. We have a good time. We laugh. We joke around. We cry. I mean, we have just a good time. So you're more than welcome to come in anytime you want. Don't be a lurker. If you're one of those, this is what a lurker looks like. Okay. You want to be this, you got to come and hang out in the chat. Don't be one of these behind the scenes, right? This is a lurker. I see you, Brad. I like what you're doing. Show me your feet. Don't be one of those. Come on. Well, we all got to get to work here. So with that being said, hit that like button, smash the subscribe, follow button. If you want to become a member, you can help us. Go to baldbrad.com if you want to do a donation. It's in the upper tab. A lot of you have been using that outlet. Thank you so much, by the way. We're actually getting a lot more people utilizing the donation tab. We get 97% of those proceeds, by the way. YouTube and Rumble take like 20 or 30%. So that's the best way. And it tells me your name. It doesn't give me your screen name, but it tells me who you are. If you guys want me to give you shout outs through that, let me know. I just won't be able to use, I'd have to use your real name because I don't have your screen name on there. It just gives me your actual name. So if that's okay, let me know. I don't want to give anybody shout outs because some of you donate a lot of money and don't want me to shout you out. So I don't want to mess anything up there. But with that being said, have a blessed day. It is hump day. It is Wednesday. And it's also Ash Wednesday for those that are Catholic. So shout out to all you. And with that being said, have a lovely one. And we'll see you tomorrow here on The Bald Brad Show. Take care, Patriots.